Hey everybody, my name is Neil Thompson. I am the founder of Teach the Geek. It's an online platform for science and engineering professionals. The first offering of the platform is a public speaking course called Teach the Geek to Speak. To learn more about it, you can go to teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. Today, my guest is Bob Brumm. And he is the encouragement engineer. I really like the title. Whether he's addressing salespeople or college students, his goal is to turn negative beliefs into something positive. He has a degree in accounting, but works as a systems programmer. And I'm pretty interested to find out how he went from accounting to programming, where the motivation for becoming the encouragement engineer came from, and how public speaking has impacted his business and career. Welcome to Teach the Geek Interviews, Bob.
Well, thank you, Neil. I appreciate you having me on today.
So I mentioned in the intro that you have a degree in accounting, but you work in systems programming. How exactly did that transition happen, and was it easy to make that transition?
It's interesting you asked that, because a lot of people do ask that. As an encouragement engineer, that ties into how I became it. And when I was in school, my original major in college was constructional engineering. So I wanted to be an engineer, and then I found out I didn't like Fortran and programming languages. And so I went to accounting. I was working for an accounting firm then. And I really loved the numbers. I loved the business aspects. I loved what it could do, the opportunities it offered. And I did that for about 9 years. And then I had an opportunity to grow doing technical items with Nortel Networks. And so I switched to the technical side. And I just picked it up pretty fast. It was a natural thing that I was able to pick up, fortunately. And that's how I got into the IT and telecom side. And I've been doing that for about 25 years. But it also offered me the opportunity to be able to present to senior management when you needed to get capital projects funded. You have to explain why you need that. You have to explain what benefit is it going to allow for the company? What benefit is it going to give the customer? And you've got to be able to express those ideas and information in a way they understand. So having the accounting background, that really helped. But also having the technical background, I could mesh both sides. And it's a good value for a lot of things that I need to be able to discuss to people, because I understand that the accounting and the acronyms of the accounting side, and I understand the acronyms of the IT side as well.
Interesting. You know, when I first did a little bit of research on you, and I saw that you do systems and systems programming, I actually didn't even know what that meant. So, what exactly is systems programming?
That's I don't know. No, it's a title that I have where I work, but we basically do a lot of application support for server systems. I manage a Citrix environment, which is a remote connectivity system for anyone trying to get into the network. And so I manage 4 different environments of that between our offices in Tampa, New Mexico, as well as all over the state, in our protected environments as well. So it's a title that I'm not sure is very clear even within the organization I'm part of, but it is application support on many different platforms, Windows 2008 through 2019. We'll do some other platforms as well that support power plants and things like that.
Okay. Well, thank you for that explanation. that was really helpful. So, you know, one of the things I also noticed, obviously, when I did some research on you, was this whole encouragement engineer thing. And as I said, I really like the title. So where did that come? What was the motivation for becoming the encouragement engineer?
Well, as you may know, in most technical fields, they're pretty good at getting into the dirty details of problems. I mean, that's what we're there for. We want to be able to fix the problems. But there's a focus on the problem. And although it needs to be fixed, there's a bigger picture here, because at first, we're all people. It doesn't matter where you live, what your beliefs are. We are all people first. And understanding that we need to focus on a bigger picture, a positive perspective, that helps us to, the idea of encouragement was needed in the industry. It's still needed in, I think, a lot of the IT industries. And I think what's interesting is people forget that. They want to get to the technical piece, which is important. And that's great, but we're people first. And we as people need to perform and make the best of clearing those problems. And a lot of times that means we have to shift our focus away from the initial problem and realize the bigger picture, that we can get through this, that we can work through this together. I bet some of the best times people have had working in technical fields, maybe late nights and things like that when you're upgrading a system. But when you have fun and you realize you're in this together, it builds that bond and you're able to correct that problem, get it done faster, and you don't feel as bad when you have those long hours, because it's fun working with the people, getting through the scenarios. And I think the idea of focusing on the opportunities, that encouragement that we'll get through this, and we have great value within us, and that helps us to get through any situation we're in, no matter what that brings us in life, whether it's in the technical field, the personal field, whatever it may be. Knowing our greatness within us is a huge, huge concept that needs to be shared with the world, because we all have greatness within us. And no matter what that is, everybody's got a value to add to whatever we're doing. We need to remember that.
That's not something I've ever really thought about before. But now that you put it in that way, it makes a lot of sense. When I think about just in working in technical fields, as technical workers in general, there's a lot of group work that you need to do, and there's also a lot of well, not a lot, but there's a lot. Well, actually, there is. But they have to be led by somebody, and the people that are leading them, they have to. Well, it'd be helpful if they actually like the leader, because if they like the leader, they'll actually follow the leader. So is that I guess that type of concept of I guess employee leader and subordinate relationships, and building those relationships to be strong. Is that something that you advocate and talk about?
Yes, I do talk about that when I talk to different corporate groups, because like you said, it is important for the people to like the leader. And again, it goes back to the concept, we're all people. It doesn't matter what you call me. Okay, we're all people. If we hurt, we cry. If we bleed, it's blood. We're all people, and having a leader that understands what we're all going through, that's a great help. Understanding, okay, this person, may like certain things this way, and another person likes it a different way. As far as, for instance, recognition, or how do people work? Some people are better in the morning. Some people are better in the afternoon and evenings. Having that mesh and that blend, and knowing that people can take on a great responsibility and the value they have with that is important. And a leader needs to encourage that, growth, needs to encourage their strengths, not just pound on them, let's build up your weaknesses. That's old school idea. We need to focus on our strengths. We need to build on those strengths. And that's what brings people together. So many times in corporations, you may have people that have been there for 20, 30 years, and they're kind of riding the boat, just waiting for retirement. And you'll hear the scenarios of, well, it's always been done that way, or, oh, that can't be done, oh, this can't be done. No, we need to think differently. There's opportunities everywhere we look. How do we get to those opportunities? And being able to look and be open to that opportunity, part of that encouragement I give helps people to see, maybe just look at things just a little differently, and you'll see the opportunity that you have in front of you.
That makes a lot of sense too, Bob. Even, and I'm not just saying that because I'm speaking to you right now. I'm trying to take in everything that you're saying. It's not like I'm gonna get off this interview and be like, that guy's full of shit. I don't know what he's talking about. No, it makes perfect sense. And I fully agree with you about focusing on strengths. I heard this somewhere, and I wish I'd been one that came up with this saying, because it's so good. But it's focus on your strengths and surround yourself with your weaknesses. What do you think of that?
Well, Henry Ford had something like that too. He could call on somebody. He only had a fifth grade education. And he went into there was a story that he went into a congressional hearing, and they talked about him only having a fifth grade education. He says, at any time in whatever I build, I can press a button and have somebody that knows that exact piece of that production piece and knows it inside and out. I can hire the expertise to bring that in. I don't have to know it myself, because I can look at bigger picture scenarios. And so that's a good piece you bring up, is you surround yourself with your weaknesses, because you can have others that's their strength. Are you good at accounting?
Not at all.
No. Okay. Right. You go hire a CPA to do your taxes, or a program that will help you to do it. You're not good at diagnosing your medical condition, maybe. You have to go to a doctor to take care of that profession. There's certain pieces that you look at that you need to get the expertise from somewhere else. And sometimes it's just efficiency, virtual assistants, things like that. People that can help you to do the things that you might not be that proficient at, but overall you put it together and boy, it's on point. And you got a product, you got a service, you have a process that is a great process or service or a product, because you have all those excellent pieces together.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, when it comes to anything, you're either spending time or money. So
Oh yeah,
so
yeah.
you definitely you could spend the time to get good at something, but if you could have potentially just spent the money to have someone to do it in a fraction of the time, I don't see why you wouldn't. Unless
Yeah.
you're broke, I guess.
Well, sometimes it takes us a while to figure that out, you know, and it's, you get to a point where trying to develop your own website or something, give somebody to, you know, you pay a little more, get it done. It'll be done within a month or two, and it looks great because they have the expertise. Why not use that? You know, let them advance their talents.
Yeah. So I know that you do a lot of public speaking. What type of topics do you speak on?
A lot of encouragement topics, positive motivational type concepts. I'll talk to colleges, universities. You'll talk to, you know, corporate environments as well as youth environments too. And a lot of it has to deal with taking that positive action, that encouragement. Like I said, in corporate environments, it's helping people to see a different way of doing something that just maybe if you shift just a little bit and look at that process that you're doing in a different light, that, hey, you know what, that may work better, that'll help. I don't have to be so grumpy. You know what, I give people simple ideas of it, why not do great things when you start your day off, and that will enlighten the rest of your day. If you're happy and smiling when you're going into work, you're smiling, people kind of look at you like, what's going on with this guy, you know? But then they're wondering, wait, how come he's all jovial and smiling? I want to do what he's doing. And then, you know, you have that conversation, you learn from people and you interact with people. And that seems to be a lost art anymore today, is people actually conversing and working together and talking. Everybody's on a device. They're all down here doing this, get a blue screen face. Let's talk to each other again. Let's learn from each other as people. That's why these podcasts are important. We're learning from people as individuals, and I think that's critical. Is having that aspect to integrate in it. You know, talking with each other and helping each other learn personally from each other. It's a very important.
So if you're a manager or any kind of supervisory position at a company, and the people that that report to you, they're coming into work with, you know, mean mugging, they don't look too happy, you know that you need to do something about it, right?
And it's interesting because there's studies, many studies out there that talk about the productivity cost of people that aren't engaged in their company, aren't engaged in their job. It's critical because it can save your company, your organization, millions and millions of dollars, because non-productivity costs businesses, I think the number was $70 billion a year. Why not fix some of that in your own organization? It's a hard number to follow because nobody really tracks it. But you just walk around the halls, get somebody to walk around the halls and listen to some of the conversations that go on. Are they complaints or are they praise? Why not have an organization where it's praised, where people are excited and happy to be there?
Yeah, for
So
sure.
that's what I help organizations to see.
So what kind of outcomes do you hope that the people that you speak to get after hearing you speak?
Well, it's that shift in mindset, and that's harder to track. That's where I could offer the opportunities to come back and help them with that. But they'll see the productivity increase. And I always think of this quote from Zig Ziglar that talks about motivation. It says, well, motivation doesn't last. Yeah, well, neither does a good bath, but good idea to take one every day anyway. It's that continuation, right? We put on our deodorant every day.
Yeah.
It's a good idea. It's a good practice. And watch what it does over time. I haven't always been this way. I haven't always been a positive, encouraging person. But it's a discipline that we learn, that we grow with. That when we get in the car in the morning, don't listen to the radio and the news traffic tells you about the traffic jam you're sitting in and how bad the stock market is and all the derelict things that are going on in this world. Focus on building your strength, building your mindset. That could be positive, encouraging CDs, podcasts, whatever it is. Listen to things that help you to grow, help you to have that better attitude. So when you get out of that car, you're ready to go. You're ready to take on the world. You got a great attitude. And guess what? During the day, people are going to try to shoot you down again. So guess what? You got to re-energize yourself. You got to rethink of the positive things that go on in your life. Go outside and enjoy some sunshine. Go outside and enjoy, seeing and feeling the outdoors if you can, and remind yourself of that greatness you have within you, that ability you have to overcome anything that's thrown at you, because life is life. This world keeps turning and things are going to happen, and we've got to be able to overcome those things that occur in our lives.
I'm with you, Bob. People should definitely take showers and use deodorant every day. please.
Yes. There's our public service announcement today.
No doubt. So have you always been good at public speaking? And if not, what have you done to get better at it?
That's a great question. It was always something I was interested in. And going back to my college days, it was interesting because I saw an ad for Toastmasters, and the way they wrote that ad was horrible. I was thinking, who would want to be part of that? It sounded like a bad roast. I mean, I want to go to that. So I just scrapped it and didn't go to it. Well, later on in my career, somebody invited me to do a Toastmasters meeting. Okay, well, check it out, see what it's like. And when I went, I was like, wow, this is really cool. And I always even in school, I like giving presentations and topics like that. But the idea that you could give these presentations to people and show your value and encourage them, it was just great. And so that there's 10 speeches for the first level at Toastmasters. I did all those 10 speeches, 10 levels. I went out and talked to different groups and guests at Toastmasters organizations. I finished all 10 of those in about 2 weeks. So it was that exciting for me. And what I see in a IT environment, you see a lot of this where you get technical presentations. I'm sure you may have been in some of these, and you watch the audience. Where do they go after 5 minutes? If it's a boring presentation and not interactive or not interesting to people, they're off doing something on their tablet, looking at something. I saw a guy reading a newspaper one time in a corporate meeting. I'm like, are you kidding me? And I told the sales manager, I said, dude, your guy lost the audience within 5 minutes.
Yeah.
You've got to be able to maintain that audience. And that's important in any environment, whether it's, corporate sales, whether it's, IT, especially in IT, because we can get so lost in acronyms and in any technical field. Remember, we're people. People like to have fun. They like to make jokes of yourself. Let it be real. And that's where it makes it relatable. When you're more relatable, that brings the value to people, because the technical stuff we can all learn. It's the relation, knowing that, okay, he went through some of the things I did or am going through, and he's doing this now. That's great. Do presentations at different conferences. That's a great way to show people your value.
Wow. Someone actually pulled out a paper newspaper?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't know they still made those. That's crazy. But you're absolutely right about technical presentations being unnecessarily dry, very data-driven. People will get up there with a whole bunch of slides with a lot of text on them, and they'll read them, and they won't ever look at anybody. And by the at the end of it, they just they get out of there as quickly as possible. And you're thinking to yourself, I just wasted already I wasted all this time sitting here listening to this. I could have been at my desk doing actual work. This wasn't worth my time at all. But you're absolutely right. That's basically why I even started my whole course, and it's the Teach Geek platform in general, was to just, especially when it comes to technical people communicating with non-technical people, it's even more important to try to keep their attention, because they don't even have the technical background to even understand what those acronyms mean. So they're going to tune out real quick.
Right. Oh, definitely. Sometimes I'll call myself the IT geek that can speak, because it's that idea that, there's technical acronyms, but where's the value coming? And bringing that, like I said, making fun of myself, that's a great one. I've talked to board of accountancy meetings, and you think, okay, of course, accountants can be pretty dry. Yes, they can. But when you make it fun and you make it exciting, and they're looking at you like, wow, this is different, that's what you want. You want that connection, so that people say, oh, cool, I want to go to him because he's got good information, and it's fun, and it's relatable to me.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have a process when it comes to putting your presentations together? And if so, what is it?
It's what I do is I usually talk to the groups I speak to. I'll talk to the event coordinator, whoever's bringing me in, and say, okay, what are we looking for? What are some situations going on currently with the people? Whether that's, a technical group or non-technical group. I'll even get like 2 or 3 people and contact them and say, what are some issues you have in your work environment? What are some issues you're seeing, so that then I can talk about those issues and integrate it into the presentation with the overall idea of the speech I'm giving. But that way it makes it real. It makes it real for people, because these are real scenarios that I've integrated into the presentation, and it makes it more relatable. Oh, wait, that person has that. This person is doing this. And when you're talking about that and integrating into the presentation, everybody starts to come together and makes it more relatable and more understanding, that how we can get through some of these scenarios. What are they doing to get through that scenario? I have an issue just like that, and you gave me some ideas on how I can overcome those scenarios. So that's a big piece with that. And then the biggest thing I think in giving a presentation, have energy, have enthusiasm, be excited about what you're talking about. Like you said, so many times you'll get into a technical presentation, they're turned around and reading slides. Really? I don't have time for that. I can read. Let's make it fun. Let's
Right.
make it interesting. People love to laugh. Make it funny. Throw some things out there that will throw them off a little bit and make them laugh. They'll enjoy it.
Absolutely. I mean, ultimately, it's public speaking, not public reading, right?
Correct. Yes.
So when it comes to public speaking, do you ever get nervous? And if so, how do you deal with your nerves?
I've been doing this probably about 15 years. I don't really get too nervous. I get excited at the opportunity. I think that's kind of the encouragement engineer coming out of me. Look at something a little bit differently. Is it nervous? Really, what's going to happen? I've done this before, speaking to different groups, and I'll take some people, and you could tell, they're like, wow, you do this? And I said, do you like speaking in front of people? And all of a sudden you get the deer in the headlights. Look, and they're like, oh no. I said, come here. And then they're like, wait a second. And they don't like doing it. I said, this is something that you can grow to build your value and share your knowledge and share your value with other organizations. I said, come up here. And they'll come up with me. I said, turn around. I said, now, is anybody throwing anything at you? Is anybody shooting arrows at you? Is anything happening? You still dressed? Yeah. I said, it's not so bad, is it? No. I said, here's the difference. I said, instead of now you seeing me talk to you, you just see a lot more eyes. So I make it relatable to them. And you watch that weight go off their shoulders, like, wow, this isn't so bad. And so that's what I focus on whenever I give a presentation, is the idea that what value are you giving people, and have that excitement, that energy to give that the best value you can to whatever the audience that is. They're there to learn. They want to see you succeed. So just remember that too.
Absolutely. So besides what we've talked about already, are there any other tips that you could offer people who want to improve their public speaking and become more effective at it?
Practice. Get out and get to a group, whether it's Toastmasters, whether it's a technical group, whether it's a school group. Get out there and talk. Get on podcasts. It's a good opportunity to give a presentation. Give a short half-hour presentation, if you will. Conversational presentations. Get out there and practice. Try to do it. At first, it's not going to be that great. And know the different topics that you're good at. A lot of times, if I'm trying to give a technical presentation, I want to focus on the technical information. And guess what? People have seen how I do compared to presentations about encouragement or talking about my kids. You talk about the kids, all of a sudden your eyes light up. What's that thing that triggers you to just start talking so excitedly that you don't need a script? Know your material so that when you're giving that exciting talk, it's there. You don't have to look at a reference or point 1, point 2, point 3. Know your material so that you can just talk about it, be excited about it. And for me, I don't use slides. I know that's crazy because a lot of technical conferences always like slides. I prefer not to use them. I want to be I don't hide behind a podium. I want to be in front of the audience. I want to be walking up and down. It's hard for cameras to follow me sometimes because I have a little bit of energy and a little bit of enthusiasm, and I go all over the place. But it brings the audience, it gives them that value they're looking for, that personal touch. So that would be some key things I would say when you're preparing for a speech. Energy, enthusiasm, practice, and make it real. Give that value. Remember the value you're giving. And that's what gives you the excitement to be able to talk about it without focusing on notes or certain points in a presentation.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. And the point you made about not using slides, I don't think it's that weird at all. And either it forces people to listen to you, or they'll tune you out. They'll tune you out. Absolutely. There's no in between, really, because there's no slides to look or read. So it's just, you're picking one of those two things. So hopefully you pick door number one.
Yeah. And if you have to use slides, because I know sometimes technical conferences require them, I put such short bullet points that I can explain those. And that's the biggest piece, is you're talking more about the story of a bullet point than you are about this bullet point. You reference it, and that's the key. Just reference it and tell them your story. Tell them what's in your head and in your heart. That makes it more critical. It makes it more, integrated with what people want to see.
Absolutely. Is there anything else that you'd like to share about things that you're working on?
Well, I've got a couple things I'm working on. I've got my own podcast. I do a daily 1-minute motivation with Bob Brumm. It's called Encouragement Engineering. It's played on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Radio Player. So that's out there. It's also on my YouTube channel and my social media channels. I've got another book I'm working on. It should be out shortly this year. It's called A Positive Purpose. And I'm working on finishing that and getting that out. So I'm looking forward to that. But I've got other books out there about encouragement and just knowing the value you have as a person and taking that action. I think that's critical in our society, no matter what we do. Know your value when you're presenting topics to technical audiences, the value you offer them. And so that's where the value of your presentation comes.
Absolutely. So how can people get in touch with you, Bob?
Well, I'm on my website is easiest at www.bobbrummspeaks. That's BOBBRUMM speaks.com. And it's got all my information out there. It has links to my podcast, my YouTube channel. I'm on the social media channels as well, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, so Twitter as well. Look up me, B Brumm Speaks, SPKS, on Instagram. So I'm out there for people to contact. I would love to help people if they're having a little trouble seeing that encouragement in their environments. I'd love to come in and give you a hand with that. Like I said, I also have other products and helpful things out there on a daily basis.
Wonderful. This marks the end of another episode of Teach the Geek interviews. My name is Neil Thompson. I am the founder of Teach the Geek. It's an online platform for science and engineering professionals. The first offering of the platform is a public speaking course called Teach the Geek to Speak. To learn more about it, you can go to teachthegeek.com. Again, that's teachthegeek.com. Until next time, take care. Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Neil. Have a good day.